In this unit, we're going to work on the process of collecting and assessing the competitive information. We're going to focus on three core aspects. What's happening? What do we expect to happen? And what does this mean for our key account business? And we found that the best way to approach this is to think first about the competitor as a company. In other words, what do we think it's good at and not so good at in general terms? And then think specifically what this means for each key account. And this is really important because strengths and weaknesses are relative. So, for example, let's say we have a competitor which has a superbly engineered product, perhaps the best in the market. That will be one of its core strengths, which we'd identify in our initial analysis. But so what? We have to understand the implication for our key accounts and for our business. Now, this would present a real problem to us if we had key accounts which required a highly engineered product, but no sweat at all if the key account had no use for the extra precision. In fact, we'd probably be at an advantage in the second situation because the highly engineered product is likely to require a higher price. So we can see that the initial general strength which we identified, in this example, the highly engineered product, can also be a threat and an opportunity to us, depending on the needs of the key account. So let's now look at a very simple template which we can use to capture our core understanding for each selected competitor. The first thing to do is to list those traditional and non-traditional competitors you're planning to assess. Here's the basic template. A good start is to figure out how the competitor is positioned. What's its core competitive advantage? Now, this is an easy question to ask, but often it's less easy to answer. So here are some ways you can go about answering it. You can look at their website. They may actually define their position there. Ask your key accounts for their view. Debate the question with your colleagues. It's a good exercise to work through because it helps you figure out how to respond to their competitive positioning. And now we want to know, what is this competitor really good at and less good at? And we can call their strengths and weaknesses. We need to make sure that we have good evidence, though, for what we think we believe. Just because a company claims it's offering a strong competitive solution doesn't mean they really can. So it's a good idea to cite your evidence just to make sure we are being objective. And finally, we want to know what they're likely to do in the next, let's say, 12 to 24 months. And this is important because it'll help you assess the possible future threats. So at its heart, these are the things we want to know. How does the competitor position itself? What is it good at and not so good at? And what do we expect it to do? And so what are the implications for our key accounts? And therefore, what do we need to think about and consider? Many competitive analysis tools aim to collect a great deal more information, numbers, outlets, people, performance data, and so on. And you may feel that you do want this information. But before you start investing time in collecting lots of data, be really clear why you want it and what it's going to do for you. And if you find that you're collecting data which you don't use, then just don't bother to keep it. Different competitors will be more or less threatening in different sectors and in different key accounts. So for each of your key accounts, you need to consider the competitor's profile and consider the potential impact on your business. Thank you.